everyone. I'd like to call the regular October 3rd, 2024 meeting of the Police and Fire Commission to order. We'll start with roll call. Let the record show Commissioners Cobb, Dorf, and Goldhahn are here in person. Commissioner Laux is attending via Zoom, and Commissioner Boyle-Roloff is excused. We all received the agenda in the mail. If there are no questions or changes to that, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
And a motion by Commissioner Dorf.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cobb. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Okay. And then we have one set of minutes in your packet, and that was the minutes of the regular meeting of September 5th, 2024. Are there any changes or corrections to those? Not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Commissioner Dorf. Any second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Cobb. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? All right, those pass. Information items. For the President's report, just over the past few weeks, I've had a chance to observe a couple of things from both departments. There was a USAR demonstration out near the county jail on their communications tower out there. That was a very informative and very good example of the rigor and the training and the detail that goes into that kind of work. And it's and as I've said at other times, the fire department is especially like this big insurance policy where you hope you never need to use it, but they've got to be trained and they've got to be ready to react to a lot of different things, and the rigor that goes into that is very good. And Quincy Colts, who we have here, was the leader of that session, and very good. Enjoyed that a lot. And then secondly, the cadet program, so the kickoff of the cadet program, and that's to get high school students involved in learning more about the fire department and the things that they do. And there were, I don't know the total count, but there were several returning students from previous years that have been there. One that had been in there, this was her third year.
Really?
In the program, and others that go through. And so they learn a lot. They learn a lot about the fire department, and they also learn a lot, I think, about themselves and about what they might enjoy doing for a career and not enjoy doing for a career. So that's been a very positive program, too. I usually get a chance to talk to them about interviewing later on in the process, and you can tell they really enjoy that. So
I know there's probably limitations, but is there any way to potentially incentivize people returning and or bringing a friend with them?
Sure. Yeah, we could come up with something, I'm sure. You know, the thing is like, you know, we look at it a couple of ways. One is we have, you know, a definitive number of people we can have in there. So there's value with like going through the program 1 year and then the next, you know, somebody else
Gotcha.
open it up for somebody else, but we can, anything, you know, anything's possible. Or even, we've actually talked about some multiple sessions
yeah,
here too.
because right now I think you're maxed out at the number.
Yeah, we have like a waiting list, you know, and it's
Nice.
really good. So ultimately, long term, it'd be nice to incentivize with like, you know, points or some other incentive as we move those forward into a process and a definitive pipeline into here, so as positions, so it'd be nice.
And on the police side, every fall the police has a community academy where they have a, I think, 7-week session where they expose people to different aspects of the police department and different departments. And so my wife and I are attending that this year. I attended it back in 2012, and interestingly enough, the sessions are similar, but all the presenters from 2012 are all retired now, so it's all the young people in there. But there have been 3 sessions so far, and all of them have been very good. The people conducting them, training them, are very knowledgeable and do a very good job of keeping folks' interested. So it's a good session. And under the public information or public interest session, last month I talked about a sporting clay event where we had a team from the police department and the fire department that engaged in it. And I'm reporting that the fire department team actually came out ahead. In fact, they won the whole event of all the teams participating in there. So the team of Ryan Gibbons, Mike Tomaso, Ryan Sear, and Alex Ebert were the winning team. So With that, I'll turn it over to the chief.
What kind of event was that again?
Sporting clays.
Make sure you give my heart.
But isn't it
So-
true
Yeah.
that the police use their
In
9
other news, we've increased our firearms training.
Well, we can help out with that too.
Now, to be serious, the cops were using ARs and the
Yeah, yeah,
fire department was
yeah.
using shotguns.
No, it was all fair, all equal.
I want a pistol shoot.
Yeah, that's fine too. Yeah, yeah, that's a challenge. We'll make it happen.
All right. So Chief Knott, you want to kick us off?
Sure. No, thanks for having us again, and just wanted to do, just Quincy, as we progress through the battalions list, that'll be one of the topics, but thank you for being here today. So, also I passed out copies of the new station, fire station concept just for your review. Feel free to make any comments, and like I said, this is still pretty tentative at this point. But as we progress, this is kind of the concept that we keep coming back to. And again, this is part of that bigger development that has multiple apartments on Arndt Street on that corner. And, should be a nice community-focused center for all of us with great site angles, public art, nice spaces that are really inviting to the community. So this will be a nice addition to that area.
And that's the currently, I'm looking at the current vacant lot.
It's actually occupied by the building right now, so it's that old building.
It's across from the shipyard.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. So the plan is, there's various funding sources to make all this happen. There's a EPA grant that allows us to do demolition and some site remediation, and also lift certain areas up and out of a floodplain in that area. The south side is located in a floodplain, but just barely, so the idea of lifting that a foot or two and creating a good site for us is absolutely perfect, so that'll be really nice. Some other things, then we have 2 personnel deployed. Justin Bauer and Jordan Wack are deployed to North Carolina as part of the state USAR team, helping with flood relief efforts in North Carolina. So they're near rural areas outside of Ashland, North Carolina. So they're set to come back this weekend, but they're part of a statewide deployment from Wisconsin, USAR, or Wisconsin Task Force 1, their research and rescue team, and that is all covered through an EMAC request. So they're basically federal assets at that point too, helping out with flood relief efforts. And then this is Fire Prevention Month, so we have a lot of different outreach events. I mentioned a couple, but we certainly are in about every school, and a bunch of different social media messaging going out, plus a lot of other events. And then today I had the pleasure this afternoon to speak at UWGB to a public administration class, so the future is very bright there, I would say. It was great students and some great interactions, great questions, and then also talked about some internship opportunities for them, so we're very excited about that.
And then you also had that session with the elders.
Yes, yep, so we had, the union really put that on. Fire Ops 101 was extremely well received. A full day on a Sunday, 9 hours total, but full gear, we did, again, simulated fire scenarios for them, did vehicle extrication, some EMS scenarios, and again, all the elders said they left there with a really different perspective on how our operations work, so it's very well received.
Any questions for the chief? All right, thank you. Chief Davis.
So over on the police side, on the staffing front, we are at 178 total sworn as of September 25th. Of those, 168 are fully deployable. We have 8 officers in field training and then a couple out on long-term military leave. So not bad overall. We just found out in the last week or so that we received a $200,000 grant from the COPS office in DC for an internal wellness professional to just hire our own. We've been using a contract resource for the last few years for that, and we've gotten to the point where we have a full-time employee's worth of work, plus probably some more. So we will be recruiting for that position here pretty shortly, and we're waiting on the outcome of a grant that we applied for in conjunction with the Police Executive Research Forum. similar grant that would also pay for this program and also enable PERF to do a study on our program that would then be published nationally through their channels. And that total grant is a little over $1 million. Our part of that would be a little over $600,000. And so between those two sources, if we're lucky, I don't want to count our chickens before they hatch, but that would probably pay for about 5 years of this program. One of the things that will come with this is annual mental health check-ins for every member of the department. We also received about a $250,000 COPS grant to hire 2 police officer positions. And so after conversations with the mayor's office, we're going to add those to the table for next year. So we'll be at 190 positions. This will pay for a little more than the first year of those probably. And then the requirements of that grant are that they be used for something related to community policing. And so the plan is to add those 2 positions to our neighborhood response team. So some good news on the grant front there. And then the last thing I wanted to just update you all about is a relatively new project that we've been working on since last winter with members, leaders from different parts of the Latino community who've been getting together. We originally called that our Latino Advisory Council, and we have renamed ourselves Amigos in Azul, Green Bay, Friends in Blue, patterned after a program in Dane County that's been really successful down there. And it's the goal of this is just to have, we meet monthly, we have ongoing dialogue just about things going on in the police department, things going on in the Latino community, and then we've done a couple different community engagement events with them. We did, it's called a parent cafe, where we got parents and kids together, and we just all got together for a meal and had some really good discussions about police and youth/community relations. And the Latino community was really well attended. And then at the Estanos Aquí event, just last month, we had a soccer match with some folks from our department and some folks from the Latino community. Everybody had a really good time, and we're already talking about doing that again, maybe a couple times a year, maybe an indoor match over the winter and then another one and outside when the weather's good. You're gonna ask me how it went. I would just say it went similar to how the sporting clay went. So we got some work to do with soccer as well. But in all seriousness, everybody had a great time and really good participation from within the department. And so far this has been a really positive thing. And so we're hopeful for the future of that. And then from there, my longer term plan is to expand that in different parts of the community and have advisory groups elsewhere in the community as well.
Just a couple of questions, so thank you for that. With when you first came on, you said one of the things that you were really interested in doing was the mental health pieces, the wellness is what you specifically called it. Do you feel like in the time that you've been here, you've seen a shift in people's openness to things like that?
Yeah, I definitely do. Last year,
And what do you attribute that to? That was the last piece of that.
okay. Yeah, the short answer is yes. Like for example, last year we found some money and we did mandatory mental health check-ins for every supervisor in the department. And there was only one individual that we had a little bit of trouble getting them in there, and then even they got in there and engaged really well with it. We got really positive feedback. I think it's why we're seeing that is 2 things. One is internal, that I think people are starting to see that the city really means it and we're willing to invest in effective wellness programming. You look at the user rates for our contract resource, and that's why we have to get a full-time employee, because there's so much demand for that. But the other thing is, I think this is a local manifestation of a much larger trend in the profession, that is a very good one. That police officers are much more open now than they were when I started, to kind of work through those things that they deal with in positive ways. And they're better at taking care of themselves. I think there's a generational piece to that, and I think it's just this growing awareness in the profession that we need to
Chief, when you talk about this wellness, is this a total body wellness? Is this replacing my glass, or is just more on the mental health portion of the wellness?
So the wellness provider that we'll be hiring is focused on mental health, mental wellness, but that's one piece of a much larger program that does still involve, we still have the gym in the basement over at Unicord, and then in our plan for if we, we're not as far along in our facilities plan as the fire department, but we're talking about a new-ish facility for us that, like, we've made it clear that that's mandatory, that there has to be a fitness facility in there, because that's just part of a modern police facility. We allow officers to use that hour of wellness time on the clock every week to go in the gym and work out, because we are trying to encourage total wellness, and even beyond just physical and mental health, we have programming for people to help them with finances or family relationships or all that. So we are trying to take care of the whole person.
Sure, so it's a whole mind and body program.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And then just one last thing, a continuation on that, the soccer with the Latino community. They have a summer soccer league over on the east side. We can talk about that a little bit more, but they probably get like 1,000 people every single Sunday just kind of hanging out. So I'm sure some of the people you played against at Estamos Aqui are part of that league.
Probably.
Yeah, so we should talk about that and see if there's a way to have a presence to continue to build those relationships. Because it looks like a family affair there.
Sure.
All right, any other questions? Okay. Next items, consideration of possible action on the budget status report and the budget spreadsheet. Both of those were in your packet, all recruiting related or hiring related with physicals and photographs. And the fire department has started to spend some money. But we understand that the big spending will come now as we get into the recruiting season and use of the system that we saw last month. So if there are no questions on those, I will entertain a motion to receive those and place on file.
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Laux, second by Commissioner Dorf to receive the budget status report and budget spreadsheet and place on file. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? All right, next item is consideration of possible action on the request to approve the monthly bills. So those were all in your packet. If there are any questions on any of those?
Move to pay the bills.
We have a motion to pay the bills by Commissioner Dorf. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Cobb. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? All right, that's passed. Next item is, well, let's see, we have two closed session items, so I'm going to jump to item 4, which is an open session item, and then we'll do 3 and 5, and one closed session, cover both of those, and then go back into open session. So item 4 is consideration with possible action on the request to approve the fire department battalion chief promotional list. That list was in your packet. That is a list that will stay open for the next year. There are 3 candidates that successfully passed the written test, the oral test, and all of the background details of qualification for battalion chief. And that was Dan Chatham, Quincy Coles, and Lucas Sember. So if there are no questions of the chief or anything, I will entertain a motion to approve that promotional list.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Laux. Second. Seconded by Commissioner Cobb. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? All right, we approve that. Now, we have two closed session items, so I'll go through the reading of both of those. We'll go into one closed session and cover both of those, and then I'll do separate reports coming out. First item is consideration with possible action on the review of patrol officer candidate background. The commission may convene in closed session pursuant to section 19.85, paragraph 1, sub C and F, Wisconsin statutes, to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility. The commission may thereafter reconvene in open session pursuant to sections 19.85, paragraph 2, Wisconsin statutes, to report the results of the closed session and consider the balance of the agenda. And then agenda item number 5, consideration with possible action on a request for promotion to the rank of battalion chief. The commission may convene in closed session pursuant to section 19.5, paragraph 1, sub C and F, Wisconsin statutes, to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility. The commission may thereafter reconvene in open session pursuant to section 19.85, paragraph 2, Wisconsin statutes, to report the results of the closed session and consider the balance of the agenda. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Dorf. Second by Commissioner Cox. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are in closed session.
Okay.
All right, we are back in open session. We considered agenda items 3 and 5 while in closed session. On agenda item 3, we reviewed one background of a patrol officer candidate for the police department that was in the process. We chose to eliminate that person from further consideration in employment. And item number 5, consideration of a promotion to battalion chief. And I'm pleased to announce that our newest battalion chief is Captain Quincy Coles.
Thank you. So it's nice to meet everybody. I grew up south of town. We had a family business in the Greenleaf-Wrightstown area. So had quite a bit of interaction with the public, which is kind of normal, or feels right with this job. And I also had 4 brothers and 6 sisters. So a chaotic firehouse feels right. Started as a volunteer, spent a little time on Two Rivers Fire Department, and almost 25 years in Green Bay here. And I love it. My oldest son now works for the fire department, and my youngest son just started fire school. So I love working for the city. I look forward to coming into work, and I hope they have that same career.
So the chief and battalion chief ranks are very strong in our department. You will be a good addition to that as well.
I look forward to the challenges and to working with everybody.
Great. All right, with that, entertain a motion to adjourn. John?
I'm having too much.
I'm just sitting here, Rod. I'll stay all night.
Move to adjourn.
Motion by Commissioner Dorf. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Lau. All those in
Enough of
favor?
this nonsense.
Good. Any opposed? Any abstained? All right, we're adjourned.